Welcome and thank you for joining me for this Wheel and Anchor webinar featuring our upcoming journey through Jordan, a land of ancient cities, sacred landscapes, and some of the most striking desert scenery anywhere in the world. Over the next 30 minutes or so, I'll walk you through the full itinerary, day by day, highlighting the historical sites, the cultural moments, the scenic wonders, and all the immersive experiences that make this trip such a meaningful and unforgettable adventure. Our journey will begin at the Dead Sea, the lowest point on Earth, where we'll take a few days to unwind and explore nearby landmarks like Mount Nebo and Madaba, famous for its 6th century mosaic map of the Holy Land. I've seen it myself, it is truly incredible. From there, we'll travel south to Petra, which is the highlight, of course, of Jordan. This is the legendary rose red city carved into sandstone cliffs, where we'll spend 2 nights with plenty of time to soak in all its grandeur and mystery. And then it's on to Wadi Rum, where we'll venture deep into the desert in Bedouin jeeps, and we'll enjoy there a sunset among rock formations that once echoed with the footsteps of Lawrence of Arabia. And we'll finally end up in Amman, Jordan's bustling capital, where we'll explore Roman ruins. We'll have a chance to sample authentic Jordanian cuisine and enjoy one of our signature hands-on cooking experiences in a family home. For many, this trip is an ideal combination with our Egypt and the Nile program, giving an opportunity to visit two great Middle Eastern countries all in one trip. But alternatively, there's a myriad of other places in this part of the world that are so often overlooked. Now, if you've joined one of our webinars before, feel free to skip ahead to the itinerary in the map using the time markers below. But if you're new to Wheel and Anchor, I invite you to stay for the next couple of slides where I'll share a little bit about who we are and our unique approach to travel that brings together a community of curious and like-minded Canadians. Now, before I get into the Jordan itinerary, let me share a little bit about what makes Wheel and Anchor different, because we're not just another tour company. In fact, we're a community of Canadian travelers united by a shared philosophy, which is that the most meaningful experiences happen when you go beyond the surface. If you're watching this, you probably have a travel bucket list somewhere, but here's what we've learned after 3 decades in travel. The real magic often lies beyond the must-see places. It's like discovering street food from a vendor that we wouldn't normally think of stopping at, or maybe riding a bus in a foreign city with no destination in particular, just doing it for the sake of feeling what it's like to live there. But perhaps most importantly, it's about who you're sharing these experiences with. There's something uniquely comforting about exploring with fellow Canadians, people who just get you, who speak your language literally and figuratively, and who often become lifelong friends rather than just fellow travelers. So if you value good conversation and maybe a shared laugh in a surprising spot, and the freedom to connect authentically or explore independently, you might just have found your travel home here with us at Wheel and Anchor. Our travel philosophy centers on two fundamental goals that transform how you experience the world, and we call it being well traveled and well connected. So, when we talk about being well traveled, it's not just about checking off sites or collecting passport stamps. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I certainly collect all of mine. But it's about embracing what I like to call the curious wanderer's mindset. It's the ability to slow down, to observe closely, and to let a place speak to you in its own rhythm. In Jordan, that might mean pausing in the stillness of the Sikh before you round the corner and see the treasury unfold you in Petra, or standing at Mount Nebo, where biblical tradition and sweeping desert views meet in a single moment of awe. But it could be the silence of Wadi Rum, where the only sound is wind moving through the sandstone, or in the quiet hospitality of a family sharing their grandmother's recipe at Beit City. Yes, you'll experience the magnificent must-see sites that draw travelers from around the world, but you'll also discover those quieter treasures, the local traditions, the hidden corners, the viewpoints that take your breath away. It's about finding equal amounts of joy in both the iconic and the intimate moments, and allowing yourself to be genuinely moved by what you encounter along the way. It's in these quiet, layered details that Jordan's history and spirit reveal themselves, not as museum pieces, but it's something deeply alive. And when you travel with that kind of presence, it becomes more than just a trip. It becomes a story you carry with you for the rest of your life. So the second thing I want to talk about is being well connected. And this is where Wheel and Anchor truly differs from conventional tour companies, because connection isn't just about your fellow travelers. It's about how travel deepens your relationship with the world. We create opportunities for you to learn traditional cooking from local families or engage with artisans preserving centuries old techniques. And also the ability to share stories with locals who are just as curious about Canada as you are about the place that you're visiting. Together, these elements create what we call the wheel and anchor transformation. You'll return home carrying more than souvenirs. You'll have newfound perspectives that enrich your daily life and lasting friendships that continue to inspire you long after your luggage is unpacked. This is travel that changes you. So I'm just going to say a couple more things before we delve into the details. And I want to tell you a little bit about who we are. Who are the people of Wheel and Anchor beyond our members, of course. And so, first of all, my name is Gordon Dreger. I'm the founder of Wheel and Anchor. And as I mentioned, I've been working in and around the travel industry for the better part of 35 years. I've organized trips for Canadians to just about all parts of the globe. But I couldn't pull off all these promises that I've just talked about without an incredible team of people, all of whom are as dedicated as I am to ensuring that we deliver some of the best experiences for our members. Now, the person who's perhaps most important for you, your first stop, as it were, at Wheel and Anchor, is our lead trip specialist, Paula Zarnick. You can see a picture of here just to my right, and she is the person, when you drop us a note or give us a call, who will most likely be front line to make sure that your questions get answered and to assist you in joining us if you decide us on this or any of our trips. So let's now dive in to what makes this trip to Jordan so special. Our plan today is pretty straightforward. I'm going to be your virtual guide as I take you on a little journey around Jordan, and I'll share what you can expect from this incredible experiential style trip. I'll start with a geographical overview with a map, and then I'll walk you through the highlights of each day of this adventure. Now, if you're not sure what our experiential trips are, this kind of trip is designed for travelers who want to dive deep into a destination through our most robust itineraries. This kind of trip moves at a more lively pace with 1 to 3 nights in each location, allowing you to cover a wide range of regions. You'll enjoy immersive cultural experiences, expert local guides, and a strong sense of community, making each day a new adventure beyond traditional sightseeing. So let me share the map with you and get our bearings before we dive into the details of the day by day. This trip takes us through the heart of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. That's its official name. It's a small but incredibly diverse country in the heart of the Middle East. No doubt surrounded by strife, but incredibly calm in spite of it all. It's a land where biblical history, desert landscapes, and ancient civilizations all converge in a remarkably compact space. Our trip will start at the Dead Sea, which is not far from the airport in Amman. It's the lowest point on Earth and one of the most tranquil places to start any journey. We'll spend a few nights here with visits to nearby Mount Nebo, where Moses is said to have glimpsed the promised land. From the Dead Sea, we'll make our way south to Petra, one of the 7 new wonders of the world. We'll stay 2 nights in the gateway town of Wadi Musa, walking distance from the entrance to the Rose City. And then finally, we'll head even deeper into the desert to Wadi Rum, the legendary Valley of the Moon. And here we'll experience a Bedouin style stay and an off road journey through the striking sandstone terrain. And our last stop will be Amman, Jordan's vibrant capital, where we'll spend the last 2 nights of this trip. So let's dive into the day by day details of this program. Our journey will begin at Amman's International Airport, which, as at the time of producing this webinar, has a nonstop flight from Montreal on Royal Jordanian Airlines. But there's a number of easy connections from Canada via either European or Middle Eastern hubs. After meeting our driver at the airport, we'll make our way down, and I mean literally down, to one of the most extraordinary places on Earth, the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is over 400 meters below sea level, which makes it almost 1,200 meters or 4,000 feet of elevation below the airport where we'll arrive. It's the lowest point on the planet's surface, and it's a uniquely peaceful place to begin our adventure. As we approach, you'll notice how the air feels a bit heavier, the light is a little softer, and the stillness of the water is almost surreal. It's like a mirror stretching to the horizon. With its hypersaline waters and mineral-rich shores, the Dead Sea has drawn visitors for millennia in search of healing, reflection, and simply awe. Once we arrive at our hotel, we'll have a little time to settle in and take a short walk along the shore, or simply pause and take it all in. That evening, we'll gather for our welcome dinner, a chance to meet your fellow travelers, raise a glass, and ease into the rhythm of Jordan together. We'll begin our day with a short orientation. It's just a moment to set the tone for our journey together. Your host will give you a sense of the days ahead and what it means to travel as part of the Wheel and Anchor community. We'll then set out first towards Mount Nebo, a site steeped in both history and symbolism. From the windswept hill, tradition holds that Moses stood and looked across the valley toward the promised land. On a clear day, in fact, you can see across the Dead Sea all the way to Jerusalem. The site itself is quiet yet moving. There's a simple memorial church that stands on the hill, and its floor is decorated with remarkably preserved mosaics laid down by the early Christian pilgrims some 1,500 years ago. From there, we'll head over to Madaba, a charming town with a deep artistic heritage. It's known as the City of Mosaics, and it holds some of the most beautiful Byzantine artwork in the region. At the Church of St. George, we'll view the famous Madaba map, a 6th century mosaic that depicts the Holy Land in intricate detail, including the earliest known geographic rendering of Jerusalem. We'll end the outing with a relaxed lunch at Haret Yodna, a local favorite tucked into a restored courtyard. It's a place where the flavors of Jordanian cooking meet the warmth of a family run kitchen. It's an ideal spot to reflect on the ancient beauty we've just stepped into. Today, at least most of the day, will be yours to unwind, and there's no better place to do it than on the shores of the Dead Sea. Floating here is a surreal experience, as you can probably get from this little photo of me down here. With the water being nearly 10 times saltier than the ocean, you just won't sink, no matter how hard you try. It's a sensation that has captivated visitors for centuries, from Cleopatra to the Roman generals, all drawn by its legendary healing properties. You're welcome to cover yourself in the rich black mud, nature's most mineral packed spa treatment, and then take a photo or two before rinsing off in the shimmering water. You can also just lounge by the shore while others have their fun and take advantage of the hotel's spa offerings while enjoying the silence that makes this place feel almost otherworldly. Later on that afternoon, we'll visit the Dead Sea Panoramic Complex, which is perched high up in the Zara Mountains. From the clifftop terrace, we'll take in one of the most expansive views in the whole country of Jordan, stretching across the Dead Sea Basin toward the ancient fort of Masada, the oasis of Jericho, and even the distant hills of Jerusalem on a clear day. Inside, the museum offers insight into the region's fragile ecosystem and the dramatic drop in water levels that have shaped both the landscape and the local conversation around sustainability. It's a beautiful space. It's part viewpoint, part reflection point, and we'll round out the day with a dinner at the complex, dining as the sun dips below the horizon and the sky turns shades of rose and gold. Today, we'll head off to the south toward one of the most iconic sites in the Middle East. But before we get to Petra itself, we'll take a little detour to its lesser known sibling, Little Petra. Tucked into a narrow canyon known as Sheikh al Barid, the Cold Sheikh, this hidden site offers a more intimate first glimpse into local Nabatean life. You'll see carved facades, water channels etched into the rock, and even faint frescoes in one of the cave rooms, rare examples of Nabatean painting that have survived the centuries. Some historians believe that Little Petra may have served as a suburb or a guest quarter for visiting traders along the incense route, which once stretched from southern Arabia to the Mediterranean. Walking here, you can almost imagine the quiet bustle of ancient caravans arriving after days in the desert. We'll pause for lunch in a setting that feels deeply connected to the desert landscape, simple, warm, and rooted in local tradition. Afterward, we arrive in the shadow of Petra, where the energy shifts and the anticipation builds. The rest of the day will be yours to settle in and soak up the stillness, because tomorrow we step into the rose-red city carved out of stone. This day will take us into one of the world's most awe-inspiring places, the ancient city of Petra, hidden beneath walls of sandstone. Now, Petra remained largely unknown to the Western world until about the 19th century, although it once stood as the thriving capital of the Nabatean kingdom and a major crossroads of trade linking Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean. We'll begin our journey on foot, and it's a bit of a long journey. We pass through the Sheikh, a winding, narrow gorge that twists and turns between cliffs soaring up to 80 meters high. This natural passage, shaped by water and time, creates one of the most theatrical entrances in archaeology. And then, just as the path narrows one final time, the view opens to reveal the treasury, or Al Khazne, glowing in soft pink hues. It's one of those moments that genuinely takes your breath away. From there, we'll explore deeper into Petra's monumental core, the street of facades, where tombs are stacked like tiers into the cliffs, the Roman style theater carved directly out of stone, and the royal tombs believed to hold the remains of kings and high priests. You'll see traces of Greek, Roman, and Eastern influences, evidence of Petra's unique role as a cultural melting pot. After lunch among the ruins, we'll have the afternoon to explore further on your own. You might ascend up to the high place of sacrifice, where ancient altars overlook sweeping views of the valley, or you might also lose yourself among the weather worn tombs that line Petra's outer paths. However, you experience it, Petra stays with you. It's not just its scale or the history, it's the quiet mystery of a city carved from stone, hidden for centuries, and still revealing its secrets. We'll then leave Petra behind, and the landscape will once again start to shift. Soft hills will give way to wide open plains, and the terrain becomes starker and more elemental. As we journey south, we'll pass through territory once traversed by the Hijaz Railway, a vital link in the Ottoman Empire and later a symbol of rebellion during the Arab Revolt. The tracks still echo with the footsteps of T.E. Lawrence, the legendary Lawrence of Arabia, whose story is forever tied to this desert. And then suddenly, Wadi Rum opens up before us. Also known as the Valley of the Moon, Wadi Rum is one of the most hauntingly beautiful places on Earth. Towering sandstone cliffs rise up from the red sand, weathered by time into arches, domes, and surreal formations. It's not a landscape you simply see, it's one you feel. The silence here is vast, the space endless, and the light is always changing. As we move deeper into the desert, we follow ancient Bedouin routes that crisscross the valley floor. This isn't a place of landmarks or signs, it's a place of rhythm, color, and stillness. If we're lucky and the skies are clear, we'll witness the sunset painting the cliffs in deep golds and dusty rose. And as night falls, the desert sky fills with stars, bright, endless, and undimmed by modern life. Tonight we rest in a Bedouin style camp, surrounded by timeless sands and a quiet that humbles. It's not just a stay, it's a step into a world shaped by wind, silence, and story. We'll take off from Wadi Rum and head north. It's more than just a long drive, though. It's a passage through the heart of Jordan's diverse landscapes and living history. As we leave the red sands and sculpted cliffs of the desert behind, the route unfolds through a succession of striking geological shifts, from the wide, arid plateaus of the south to the fertile highlands and stony hills that signal your approach to the capital. Along the way, we might catch a glimpse of Bedouin communities, shepherds moving with their flocks, and towns where ancient traditions quietly endure. If time permits, we might stop at a roadside market or a scenic overlook. Regardless, the drive is sort of a contemplative experience, a chance to absorb the scale and character of Jordan beyond the guidebooks, where each mile tells its own subtle story. Eventually, the outline of Amman rises ahead, a city layered with history and full of unexpected contrasts. On arrival, we'll pass through Rainbow Street, once a residential quarter for Amman's elite in the early 20th century. Its stone villas and leafy terraces now house cafes, galleries, and local boutiques, a meeting point between the city's past and its creative contemporary pulse. After checking into our hotel, we'll step into a whole different kind of experience. At Bayat City, which means my grandmother's house, and it's set in one of Amman's oldest neighborhoods. It's a family run kitchen that isn't just about food, it's about connection. Here, we'll cook together, learning traditional recipes passed down through generations of Jordanian women. There's something deeply joyful about preparing a meal side by side and then sitting down to share it with our hosts. It's the kind of evening that lingers, a warm blend of flavors, laughter, and hospitality that stays with you long after the final bite. Today, we peel back the layers of Amman, a city that has lived many lives, from Roman outpost to Islamic stronghold to modern capital. Its history is written into its stones, its streets, and the stories of those who call it home. We'll begin in the Balad, Amman's old town, where bustling souks and the hillside houses wrap around ancient ruins. Up on the citadel, we'll walk through a mosaic of civilizations, past the weathered columns of the Temple of Hercules, the remnants of a Byzantine church, and the early Islamic Umayyad palace, all perched high above the city. From there, the view stretches out over Amman's distinctive seven hills, a reminder that this capital still echoes with its ancient foundations. Below us, carved into the slope, sits the Roman theater, still remarkably intact after nearly 2,000 years. Later on that day, we'll head over and explore the Jordan Museum, a thoughtfully curated space that gives depth to everything we've seen on our journey. Among its treasures are Neolithic statues, early Arabic manuscripts, and exhibits that trace the region's spiritual and artistic evolution. Finally, we'll stop at Wild Jordan, a social enterprise supporting women led cooperatives in Jordan's nature reserves. From hand poured soaps to delicately painted ostrich eggs, the items here reflect a quieter story, one of resilience, sustainability, and tradition carried forward with care. The rest of the day will be ours to wander, reflect, or simply take in our final impressions of this complex but welcoming city. And just like that, our journey through Jordan will come to a close. We'll have one final breakfast at the hotel, and then our private transfer will take you to the airport for your flight home, or perhaps on to another adventure, perhaps through Egypt or another destination in the Middle East if you're deciding to continue your adventures. So, if what I've shared today about our trip through Jordan is appealing, and if you'd like to get some more details, we certainly have plenty available. And the best way to get all the information you need is to visit our webpage. And you'll find a link in the description below this video here on YouTube, which will take directly to the information about our next trip to Jordan. On that webpage, you'll find our detailed trip itinerary. It's like a color digital brochure that has all of the details I've just talked about the trip, as well as the prices, the terms and conditions, and everything else that you need to know. Of course, if you have any lingering questions or you just want to talk to somebody to find out if this is really for you, maybe there's something that I haven't covered or isn't covered in all of our materials, then all you need to do is drop us an email or give us a call, and Paula will be more than delighted to assist you with any questions to ensure that you have everything you need to make an informed decision about joining us on this amazing trip. In closing, I'd just like to thank you for joining me on this virtual journey covering our trip through Jordan, the land of sand and stone. I hope it's given you a bit of a glimpse of what you can expect. Our trips are designed to give you more than just a typical tour. They're really about experiencing a destination. Now, if you enjoy following our webinars on new trips, you might consider subscribing to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button just below this video. That way, every time we post a new video, you'll be alerted and you can be one of the first to watch it. But finally, thanks again for joining me and taking the time to explore this part of the world. If you're not already on our newsletter list, a part of our membership community, then I invite you to join, and perhaps we'll see you on one of our trips or one of our social events. We'd love to help you get started on this incredible adventure. Happy travels.